Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to day 2 of the 2020 SRGMPDN Youth Festival. We had a great festival day 1 yesterday with many great activities, and we're excited to get started again today. I want to thank everybody who's been watching from the East Coast and from the West Coast and even from India as well. We had over nearly 1,000 unique viewers yesterday, and we're very humbled by all of your support and viewership. So with that, I won't take too much time right now. We'll show you the schedule for today. So today's schedule goes from 1 p.m. right now to close to 7 p.m. On the Eastern time zone. We'll start with an advanced Korvai exploration, and then we'll have various other activities throughout the day. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Vaibhav, Sourirajan, and Shrinath, Vishwanathan to start the advanced Korvai exploration event.
Awesome. Thanks, Sanjeev. And I'd like to thank everyone who's tuning in on the YouTube live stream. And today, myself and Shrinath will be moderating not only this percussion session, but later one as well. A little bit about myself. I've been learning Mridangam for the past 8 years under Sri P.K. Swaminathan. And I've also received extensive training in India under Sri Dr. Puram K. Shivaraman. And I'm currently a rising senior at Winston Churchill High School in Potomac, Maryland. Shrinath.
Hi everyone, I'm Shrinath Vishwanathan. I just wanted to thank SRGMPDN and Sanjeev for organizing all of this. It's pretty awesome that we can do something like this in quarantine. A little bit about myself. I've been learning Mridangam for the last 13, 14 years with Guru A.R. Balaskandan, who is part of Karikudi Manisar School. And the last couple summers I've been, and holiday breaks, I've been taking advanced training with Karikudi Manisar himself in Chennai. And I am a rising senior at Carnegie Mellon, studying math and minoring in computer science.
Great, and I think with that, we can get started. But before we begin our event, I wanted to mention that nothing we're going to be presenting today is going to involve any playing. Rather, we're going to present everything through Kunukul, and there are a few reasons for that. First, we wanted to offer a unique perspective into the percussion art form in Carnatic music, and to emphasize that it's more than just playing. Kunukul plays an equally large role. Second, given the virtual festival, we wanted to take a different, innovative approach instead of sticking to a traditional Talavadya structure. And last but certainly not least, we'd like to pay tribute to Shri T.H. Subhash Chandan, King of Kunukul, who recently passed away. And I think with that, we can begin our session. We have 4 participants today, and they've each taken a unique talam, jati, and nade in which they're going to present, explain, discuss, break down lessons and a korve. So with that, I think we can take it away. I believe we have Rajan, who's is gonna present first.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rajan, and I am a recent graduate from Penn State High School as a computer science major. And I'm learning from Sri Mandapaka Ravi Garu and Sri Patri Satish Guru Garu for the last 10 years. And I want to talk a little bit about what a korve is. And a korve, I believe a korve should be like a well-deserved summary for a well-written short story. It should encompass the main aspects of a concert and leave a lasting impression on an audience. There are 2 components, a purvangam and an uttarangam, and uses combinations of basic building blocks and patterns we've learned as percussionists. And korves can have 6 different forms of yatis. A yati is one of the taladasa pranas and describes the arrangement of a korve. So what are these yatis? The first one, gopachayati, is when there is a clear descending pattern to the korve. Shrotovayati is when is the opposite of gopachayati and there is an ascending order to the korve. Dhamarukayati is when the purvangam has a descending order and the uttarangam has an ascending order, like the shape of a dhamarukam or an hourglass. Mridangayati is the opposite of a dhamarukayati, is when the purvangam has an ascending order and the uttarangam has a descending order. Samayati is when the pattern has no ascending or descending arrangements, but has a constant number of aksharas throughout the korve. Vishamayati, one that not most people use most often for obvious reasons, is when there is no clear pattern to the korve. Now that I have explained a little bit about what a korve is, how about I demonstrate something, demonstrate creating one. Suppose I'm playing for Mr. Jati Tripura Talam in Chaturasram. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 kriyas and 44 aksharas. I want to start with the uttarangam. So I want to use an 11n calculation, which is just saying a phrase 11 times. And I want to use that with 6s. So the calculation would be tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku jam tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku jam tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku. So this is 66 aksharas. For a korve to be samam to samam, I'm left with 22 more for the purvangam. One of the basic patterns that is 22 aksharas long is the descending order of 7, 6, 5, 4. So that would be takudina janku, gudina janku, dina janku, tajanku. Now our korve would be takudina janku, gudina janku, dina janku, tajanku, tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku jam. Tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku jam. Tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku ta. Now, let's say I play Tristram in my tani and I want to include that in my korve. I notice that I can say the uttarangam in Tristram from samam to samam. So that korve would be takudina janku, gudina janku, dina janku, tajanku, tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku jam. Tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku jam. Tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku jam. Tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku jam. Tadin ketaku tadin ketaku tadin ketaku ta. So now we have a good, aesthetically good korve that has gopachayati as purvangam and samayati as uttarangam. So if I wanted to do kandam and misram, I can do that with the 5, 6, 7 concept. That is, instead of saying 6s in my uttarangam for all three times I'm saying the korve, I can say 5s in the first time I say the korve, 6s on the second time, 7s on the last time. But I would have to play against the rhythm, and there's a good chance the audience might not follow, or I could mess up. So if I really want to have different nade changes in my korve without any of these problems, I'll have to make some minor changes to the uttarangam and the rest of the korve with it. So there is a similar Aditaram calculation like the 11n we just used. That is 8n. That's just saying a phrase 8 times. And this calculation will always end on beat and no matter the phrase. So for example, if I use 5s, that would be so this time I'm going to calculate the Uttarangam with the nade change instead of doing that at the end. So let's start with 6s. One, two. So we're short by 2 kriyas or 8 aksharas. I can put those in the Purvangam, or I can just say 7s instead of 6s, since we're saying 6 8 times. And if we say 7 8 times, we cover those 8 aksharas. So that would be that thing ketaku jen 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 that thing ketaku that thing ketaku jen 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 that thing ketaku that thing ketaku that thing ketaku jen that thing ketaku that thing ketaku jen that thing ketaku that thing ketaku that thing ketaku that. Now we have our Uttarangam. Since our Uttarangam is samam to samam, I'm going to need a Purvangam that comes samam to samam as well, or at least 44 aksharas. There is an Aditaram Korvai that has a 40 akshara Purvangam. Takudin, dit takudina jayam, dit takudina jayam, takudina jayam, keta jayam, jayam. It has 5 karves of 4 aksharas and 4 phrases in descending order. I can just add 1 to each of those phrases and I'll have my Purvangam. And the Korvai would be tadit tadiketaka jayam, dit tadiketaka jayam, tadiketaka jayam, takita jayam, jayam, tadiketaka jen jen jen, tadiketaka tadiketaka jen jen jen, tadiketaka 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 jen, tadiketaka tadiketaka jen, tadiketaka 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 jen. Now, since the Uttarangam is 7s, I can use the 5-7-9 concept without worrying too much about losing the Taarun. So our final Korvai would be tadit tadiketaka jayam, dit tadiketaka jayam, tadiketaka jayam, takita jayam, jayam, tadit tadiketaka jayam, dit tadiketaka jayam, tadiketaka jayam, takita jayam, jayam, tadiketaka jen jen. Tadiketaka tadiketaka jen jen, tadiketaka tadiketaka jen, tadiketaka 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 tadit tadiketaka jayam, dit tadiketaka jayam, tadiketaka jayam, takita jayam. Tadiketaka jen jen jen, tadiketaka tadiketaka jen jen jen, tadiketaka 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 tadik. Tadiketaka jen jen jen, tadiketaka tadiketaka jen, tadiketaka 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 tadit tadiketaka jayam, dit tadiketaka jayam, tadiketaka jayam, takita jayam, jayam, tadiketaka jen 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 jen, tadiketaka tadiketaka jen 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 jen, tadiketaka 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 jen, tadiketaka tadiketaka jen, tadiketaka tadiketaka tadiketaka. Now I have a Korvai that is semi-complex, has Damanukayati, has different nade changes, and is easy to follow for me and the audience, and is aesthetically pleasing.
Great, thanks for sharing. I think it was very unique and creative that you were not only able to have a Chatusra Korvai in this very unique talam. We took Misra Triputa talam. You were able to expand on that and include other nades such as Kandam, Mishram, and Sankirnam all together in one Korvai. It was very aesthetically pleasing. I think from now, we're going to move on to Ashwath.
Hi, everyone. So I'm a rising 10th grader at Westfield High School, and I learned Mridangam from Shri Vijay Ganesh uncle. So today my talam I chose was Kanda Jadi Dhruvatalam, and my nade I chose was Kanda Nade. So I'll first start off by saying a couple of lessons, like 3 or 4, and then I'll jump into the Korvai. When I explain my Korvai, first I'll say the first round, and then I'll explain the Purvangam. Then I'll say the Korvai again, and then I'll explain the Uttarangam, and then I'll piece it back up, and I'll say the third round. sorry. Tangiradadim takara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka taka takara dang takara taka 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 ni takara dang takara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka ni takara dang takara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka taka ni takara dang taka takara taka takara taka takara taka takara takara taka taka ni takara dang taka takara taka taka takara taka takara taka takara taka takara timita takara dang takara dang tongara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka takara takara taka takara tarikiram dang tongara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka takara taka takara tarikiram dang. So those are my first 3 lessons, and now I will be explaining the Korvai. So I hope you can all see the document, and this is first, like say the first round. So now I'll explain the Purvangam. So the Purvangam of this Korvai was 140 akshrams, and the first line is so basically the pattern in that is the first line is that's the first section of the line, and together that's 20 akshrams. And then the second line, the first section, is also going to be 20 akshrams with so is a combination of 8 akshrams and 12 akshrams. And then is a combination of 6 akshrams and 14 akshrams. And then the third line has so that's a combination of 4 and 16. So you can see that they all equal 20 akshrams, and since this is a Korvai that is in Kandanare and has 10 akshrams per beat, it will all fit in 2 beats. So that was the first sections of the 3 lines, and then after that the pattern would be like this. So so tongu dingu kingu tanga tongu is 15 akshrams, so that's the second section of the first line. And then tadiki tatum, that's the second section of the second line. And tadiki is the second section of the third line. So essentially what I'm doing here is first I'm having 115 for the first line. Second line, I'm having 2 10s. And third line, I'm having 3 5s. So what's happening here is that the core pattern is reducing 5 akshrams each line, and the number of times the pattern is repeated increments by 1. And then after that, I just have a thom, which is 1 beat for each of the lines. So again, the Purvangam is like this. So that's the Purvangam, and now I'll be saying the second round, and this time I'll explain the Uttarangam.
Ashwath, 1 second. Sorry to cut you off. You have a visual representation along with this, right?
Yeah.
Can you make sure that you screen share that?
Okay.
Screen share is enabled for all participants.
Okay.
So can you just share your screen?
Oh, I see.
It should be at the bottom.
Yeah. 1 second. Sorry about that. I have to quit the Zoom right now, so I'll just join quickly. 1 second.
So in the meantime, maybe we can have you guys answer some questions related to your practice. and things of that nature. So I have a couple questions of my own that maybe we can get a discussion started before Ashwath rejoins. So what? Okay. So Ashwath's joined back. All right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
He can
All right.
screen share.
Can you all see the screen now? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll say this Korvai a second time now, and this time I'll be explaining the Uttarangam. So the Uttarangam is 200 aksharams. So here it is. So again, the Uttarangam is 200 aksharams, and so this is basically split into 3 sections. So in the first section, I start out with a pattern of 10, takiret taka taka, which is gonna be in 1 beat. And then after that, I have 3 5s, so tarikidatam, tarikidatam, tarikidatam. And later I have like a transition phrase, basically, tam tanga, tam tanga, tam tanga. So that's the first section. So takiret taka taka, tarikidam, 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 tam tanga, tam tanga, tam tanga. And then the second section, I again increment the pattern of 10 by 1 time, like the frequency. So it'll be takiret taka taka, takiret taka taka. And this time I'm going to have 3 5s, but I'm also going to have a 6 1 6 1 6 pattern. So it'll be like takiret taka taka, takiret taka taka, tarikidam, 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 tadinkidam, tadinkidam, tadinkidam. And after that, again, the transition phrase. So the second section of the Uttarangam is like this. Takiret taka taka, takiret taka taka, tarikidam, 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 tadinkidam, tadinkidam is going to have 3 patterns of 10. So takiret taka taka, takiret taka taka, takiret taka taka. So the pattern here is that the first section had 1 takiret taka taka, second section had 2 takiret taka takas, and third section has 3 takiret taka takas. And there's also going to be another pattern, which I'll be explaining soon. After the 3 takiret taka takas, there's 3 5s and a 6 1 6 1 6. But now there's also going to be a 7 2 7 2 7 pattern. So it's an accumulative pattern. It's first section is 3 5s, second section is 3 5s, 6 1 6 1 6. Third section is 3 5s, 6 1 6 1 6, 7 2 7 2 7. So this is the third section. Takiret taka taka, takiret taka taka, takiret taka taka, tarikidam, 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 tadinkidam, 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 tadinkiram tam, tadinkiram tam, tadinkiram tam. So this is actually like not that hard to say it in Talam because of one thing. So 61616 actually equals 20 aksharams, so it fits right in 2 beats. And 72727 equates to 25 aksharams, so it fits to 2.5 beats. So now that I've explained the Uttarangam and the Purvangam, I'll say the Korvai one more time just to piece it up. Takiret taka taka, tarikidam, 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 tam tanga, tam tanga, tam tanga, takiret taka taka, takiret taka taka, tarikidam, 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 tadimkidam, 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 tam tanga, tam tanga, tam, takiret taka taka, takiret taka taka, takiret taka taka, tarikidam, 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 tadimkidam, 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 tadinkiram, tam, tadinkiram, tam, tadinkiram, tam. So that was the Korvai for the Kanchajati Dhruvatalam Kantanade. And the key things to focus on here are the patterns. So in the Purvangam, I call these give-take patterns. So basically, the takadindimi dindimi takire tangu, it's equal to 20 aksharams. Tadimi tadimi takalena tangu is also equal to 20 aksharams. So the takad, I personally think of it as like takadindimi dindimi dindimi. It basically gives 2 aksharams to the takire tangu, prevailing takalena tangu. And well, yeah, the takire tangu takes 2 aksharams for the takadindimi dindimi to create the takalena tangu. So that's how I think of the pattern in the Purvangam. And so the next Purvangam pattern was the reducing aksharam and like the incrementing frequency. So that's a part where it says tat diki tatom, and then second line tat diki tatom, third line tarikidam. So the core pattern tangu dingu kingu tanga tongu is 15 aksharams. That reduces by 5 aksharams in the next line to create tat diki tatom, which is 10 aksharams. but the frequency of that pattern also increments by 1. So that's why there's 115 the first line, 210s the second line, and 3/5 the third line. And as for the Uttarangam patterns, so again, the incrementing frequency for regarding the takiret taka taka, the pattern of 10, the cumulative groups, right? So that basically what that means is first section has 3/5s, second section has 3/5, 6/1, 6/1, 6, third section has 3/5, 6/1, 6/1, 6, and 7/2, 7/2, 7. Yeah, and then another pattern was the Korvai increment like per group. So what that basically means is that the Tarikidatam has no like Korvai after each Tarikidatam, but then this Tadim has one Korvai after each Tadim, and the Tadim has two Korvai after each Tadim. So that's basically my Korvai, and my thought process behind creating this Korvai was that it's a long talam, so it might, and there are very like similar finger representations, so it would be really easy to like lose track of where the Korvai is. So I made sure that each group of phrases was either 1 beat, 1.5 beats, 2 beats, or 2.5 beats. So nothing like in the middle, like 3 akshrams into the beat or something like that, just to make sure that whoever plays it always retains like where they are in the talam. So yeah.
Great. I thought it was very innovative for you to take a sort of aggressive approach to this Korvai, going for 10 akshrams per beat as opposed to the typical 5 akshrams per beat. Can you just quickly explain the talam that you took in terms of lagus, dritams, how many beats? And
so Kandajadi Dhruva talam is 17 beats. So since it's Kandajadi, the lagu has 5 beats, and the structure of it is 1 lagu, 1 dhritam, 1 lagu, and 1 lagu. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the lagu, and then a dhritam 1, 2, and then the lagu has another 5 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the lagu has another 5 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in total 17 beats.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. I believe we are going to move on to Varchas, who will present his Korvai now.
Hi everyone, my name is Varchas Bharadwaj. I'm a disciple of Sri Trivandrum Balaji, who's a disciple of Palgat Raghu. And my Korvai is in Kanda Jati Attatalam in Missanande, Renda Kale. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that's 14 times 2, so 28 aksharams in the whole talam. And it's inspired by a similar Missam Korvai by the legendary Sri Palkad Mani Iyer. So I got my inspiration for that. First, I'll say a little bit of Sarolagu and build up to the Korvai, and then I'll start the Korvai. Dim tatim takadatim 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 tatim takadatim 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 dim tatim takadatim 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 tatim takadatim takadatim tatim takadatim tatim takadatim tatim takadatim takadatim dim tatim takadatim 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 dim tatim takadatim takadatim dim tatim takadatim takadatim and then the Korvai is So the math behind this Korvai is in the Purvangam, it's in pairs of 2, and they each have the same number of beats. So the first pair is tattakittataka dinadin tadim tattim tadim tam. So that's 28, so it fits in 4. And then the second of the pair is to reduce monotony. It's takattakittataka dinadin tadim tattin tadim dim. So instead of having tattakita, you just replace the Korvai to takatakita, and it'll come to the same number of beats. So then tattakittataka dinadin tadim tattin tadim tam. Takattakittataka dinadin tadim tattin tadim dim. And then after that, each pair has 7 less than the previous. So you take off the last tom, and then you get tattakittataka dinadin tadim tattin tadim takattakittataka dinadin tadim tattin tadim. Then so that's 21, and then the 14 will be tattakittataka dinadin tadim takattakittataka dinadin tadim, and then the 7 is tattakittataka takattakittataka tattum tadikitatum. Then the uttarangam is structured as increasing, so 1 9 tattum tadikitatum, that's 9, and then 1 Korvai, and then 2 9s, 1 Korvai, and then 3 9s. So tattum tadikitatum tattum tadikitatum tadikitatum tattum tadikitatum tadikitatum tadikitatum.
Great. I think it was very smart of you to take inspiration from a signature Palgar Maniyer Mishram Korvai that's sort of been passed down from generation to generation. Great job, and thanks for sharing. And finally, we have Rishi Swaminathan.
Okay, hi, my name is Rishi Swaminathan. I'm a 10th grader at Oakton High School. And so the talam I chose was Mishra-Jati Jampatalam, which is 10 beats. It's 1 lagu followed by an anudritam and a dhritam. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I chose Sankirnanare. So what I'm doing is I'll say some sarva lagu patterns, and I'll say some different patterns at different speeds for the nade, and then I'll say my Korvai. And then I'll say my Korvai. So my Korvai is So my Korvai is structured in a pattern. It's an increasing pattern. So for the first half, it's dangu takita kita takita dangu. That's the main phrase. So dangu takita kita takita dangu is 18 aksharas, so it fits in 2 beats. Then I add a takita dangu to that, so that's 9 more aksharas, so 1 more beat. So dangu takita dangu, then dangu takita dangu, and then I add takita dangu to that. So dangu takita dangu. And so since the dangu is on the next beat, it doesn't come to exactly samam. My pattern is so that the tadinkiradam, I split it up so that the first tadinkiradam, each part, the ta, di, yim, ki, ta, tom, each one will take 6 aksharas. So ta, di, ki, ta, tom. And then the second part, the second tadim kiradam, will take 3 extras each. So tadim, tadim, ki, ta, tom. And then the last set of tadim kiradam. So I did the last part as tadim kiradam, tangu, tadim kiradam, tangu, tadim kiradam. So that will take 1 extra for each part of the tadim kiradam. So tadim kiradam, tangu, tadim kiradam, tangu, tadim kiradam, tang.
Great. Now that everyone's presented, I think we can take a few questions that were in the live chat. Someone asked, do different schools of Mridangam also have different syllables for saying sounds in Kunakul? And anyone who wants to answer can take this, or Shrinath and I can answer. Okay, I think the basic answer to that question is yes. It all depends on the guru lineages and how you were taught and how mridangists and percussionists have been taught for generations. And the differences in terminology don't change the conceptual ideas that we're trying to present. They may just be slight differences in the words that are used, the sounds that are used. But generally in Kunakul, there's a sort of consensus that certain syllables mean certain strokes. If anyone else wants to add on to that.
Yeah, just to add on, I think like it's mostly like the phrases that we use to describe the components of a korvai are the same, but the syllables that we use to say the lessons differ from language to language based on what area of India your school is from. I think it sort of depends on more the history of the school rather than, the actual teacher.
Yeah, it also goes to show how diverse this art is. You have so many different schools using all these terminologies. It's like a language that's blending together with all these different schools.
It's almost like a dialect. In general, we all speak the same language of Kunakul, but each school has their own dialect of using different syllables. And yeah.
And to add on to what Vaibhav said, so he said like how each school has a different style of saying, and like he also said that some schools have like the same thing for the same patterns. So like there are certain like basic phrases and basic lessons that you play, like ta, ki, or ta, like basic notes. Most schools usually use the same terminology for those patterns, like simple patterns, like kita taka or stuff like that.
Just one question that I have out of curiosity, addressed to each of you guys, and you can all answer individually. But what percussion artists have you drawn the most inspiration from? Whether that be the greats, the legends, or even people today, your gurus. If you guys could elaborate on that, each of you.
So yeah, obviously I've like drawn a lot of inspiration from my guru Vijay Ganesh uncle. I've also like listened to a lot of like Shriti Shankaran. So he's also like another artist I've drawn inspiration from.
Adding on to Ashwath, my inspiration basically comes from my guru Mandapaka Ravi sir and Patri Satish Kumar. Since they both are from the same school, it's a lot of their thought process intrigues me and influences my ability to play.
And I've also drawn a lot of inspiration from my teacher. I learned from the same teacher as Ashwath, Sri Vijay Ganesh. And also I listened to some recordings of Sri Kamal Puram Keshavarama. I've also gotten a lot of inspiration from him, as well as another guru from India, Nevali Narayanan. He usually comes here in the summertime from the US to conduct workshops here. And I've learned a lot of different patterns and a different way of playing and lessons.
As in my Korvai, I get a lot of my inspiration from Sri Palkat Maniyer and his disciple, Sri Palkat Raghu.
Nice.
Nice. Just one last thing before we conclude here. What have you guys done during these times to keep in touch with people, to keep in touch with the Carnatic music community? Kind of elaborate on what you've been doing?
Like personally, like to keep in touch like with music, Carnatic music itself. I've like been like regularly like posting YouTube videos like with like Korvais and such like stuff like that. And yeah, and I've also like started some like fusions and like jammed with other people.
Basically, my family, my brother plays violin and my mom sings. So every day there is something going on that's in line with Carnatic music. So I'm always staying active or at least attentive to what's going on in my house, at least. Yeah. And listening to other concerts that my mom posts in my group chat, I guess.
Yeah, I also have a YouTube channel, so I've posted videos there like about the basics of Mridangam, like basic patterns and like the different ways and the different edipus, how to play for songs, basic stuff for like people who just want to like learn about the Mridangam.
Yeah, so similar to Rajan, my brothers, they also learn Carnatic, so it's a lot easier to keep in touch with Carnatic when your family also learns it.
Nice. One last question I had for just anyone or whoever wants to talk about it. Just a lot of these Korvais that you guys said and demonstrated are pretty complex. So would you play any of these on stage during Thaniyavatanam during a concert, or is it too complicated for someone someone who isn't very familiar with the lesson to be able to put talam to for a singer or something like that? And how would you adapt the lesson to modify it to be able to play it on stage?
I guess it really depends. Sorry. So it really depends on who you're playing for. Like, you have to like get to know them. Like, if you know like how they are at keeping consistent talam, or like if they're a beginner or they're like you've played with them a lot, like you really have to know how good they are putting talam. Because if you play a complex Korvai, like some of the ones we made today, they're pretty complex. So some people who aren't that familiar with like the complex Korvais that Mridangas play, they might not be able to put good talam for these Korvais. So you might just play a simpler Korvai.
Adding on to that, I'd like to say like we need to assess our audience before we go into complexity and figure out if they're ones that prefer aesthetics over mathematics. So based on that, you create a Korvai that pleases the audience, or at least entices them to like keep listening or see what else you've got to like play.
Adding on to like what Rajan and Rishi said, yeah, I agree. Like you have to like basically like what Rajan said, assess the audience and also assess who you're playing for. Like, and if you play with them a lot, then and if you know like they're comfortable with complex Korvais, then yeah, I would definitely play this Korvai in a Thaniyavatanam.
Okay.
I think that wraps up everything we have for our first percussion session.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you to Rajan, Rishi, Ashwath, Varchas, and Shrinath, you as well, for joining. And I think I can hand this back to Sanjeev.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks again, everybody. Great job on the presentation. And I'm really glad you guys were able to use some of the visuals to show the audience, especially people like me, and I'm sure many in the audience who are not familiar with. We know there's math involved in these in the Korvais, but we don't know exactly how it's being built. And so for us to see the visual and to see the explanation on how you guys constructed it was very helpful. So thanks so much for that, and thanks to Vaibhav and Shrinath for leading this session and working with the team to make this happen. I'm glad also you mentioned Subhash Mama. Many of us in the DC area had the opportunity to interact with Subhash Mama over the years. He's been here many times, and
Right.
we've seen him and been with him, and so it's a very sad loss for our community. And so I'm glad you were able to mention that. So thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.
So I want to take a moment to welcome you all again to the 6th annual SRGMPDN Youth Festival. This is the second day. We started yesterday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we had some great events yesterday. And today, again, we will have a great lineup of events for you. Typically, this festival we have every year, as you know, at SSVT in person, and many of you have been with us in person, but obviously this year is a unique circumstance. But we want to make sure to thank SSVT for their continued support and help through this over the last several years, and I'm sure in the future as well. One of the things we mentioned in the discussion yesterday is the importance of the local institutions, local groups, and the local temples in kind of creating and fostering the community of Carnatic music. So thanks so much to all of our temples and local institutions for supporting this community. We're going to begin the next session in a few moments. So the next session is as I like to call it, Buzzfeed presents 5 Carnatic apps you need now. So just give us a few moments and we'll get set up and we'll get started. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. We'll begin with the next activity, and this is going to be a very unique activity. One of the things we have realized with everyone at home due to the COVID crisis is that everybody interacts more with their phone and other internet media as part of their Carnatic practice routine. And so with that comes a need to find good ways to practice and good tools for us to practice with. And so that's why today we have a great session called Buzzfeed Presents 5 Carnatic Apps You Need Now. And like any good listicle, we're going to have the full details for you and go through a live presentation of the apps for you. So this is meant to be definitely an interactive event, and we have 5 of our greatest middle and high schoolers to help present the apps. And definitely, please, if you have your phone with you, go ahead. You can download the apps. Most of them, I believe, are available for both iPhone and Android. And go ahead and download them, test them. If you have a question, we can put it on the live chat and we'll answer it live, so that we hope by the end of the session, everybody has some new tools that they can use to kind of help them with their Carnatic practice and grow their skills. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Adarsh. Adarsh Bharadwaj will be our first participant to demonstrate his app, Carnatic Raga.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead and enable your video.
All right. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, go ahead.
All right. So my app is Carnatic Raga. So first of all, my name is Adarsh Bharadwaj, and I'm a 7th grader, and I go to Rachel Carson Middle School in Virginia. And so the app I'll be discussing today is Carnatic Raga. So I'll just be discussing like how to use it and like why you might want to use it. So here's an overview of the app. So Carnatic Raga is like an app that allows you to search for different ragas. It gives you the specifics of ragas. It allows you to like find out things that you might not know about ragas. So you can filter for different ragas. So you can filter based on swara, like swaras that you may believe are in the raga. You can filter based on that. And then there's also filters for name, where if you know the raga, but you might not know its specifics, you can find the raga and look at its specifics. And then, so Carnatic Raga, it also has lessons for beginners so they can learn the basics of music. It also has an instrument tuner that is still in development. It has yet to be fully perfected, but I believe that'll be done sometime soon. And then this app is available both on iOS and Android. So if you want to download it, it's available on most common app stores. So first, I'll talk about the Swara filter, which is a 4x4 grid that allows the user to select a Swara in the ragam that they're looking for. So, for example, if you're looking for Shankara Barnam, let's say, and you're not sure which Swaras are in Shankara Barnam, but you know that it has Sa and Ri too, but you don't know anything other than that. So you put Sa and Ri too, a list of all the ragas with Sa and Ri too will show up, and then you'll be able to click on the ragam that you're looking for, such as Shankara Barnam. So when a particular set of swaras are present in multiple ragas, so let's say Sa and Ritu, like I just said, that's present in many ragas, like two common ones being Shankara, Barnam, and Mohanam. So it'll present you a list which has all the ragas that have these swaras. And then when you click the play button will play the swaras that you've selected so far, so that you can be reassured that you've selected the right ones. So the next filter is the name filter, which is a search bar that can be used when you know the raga name, but you're unsure of the raga specifics. So when you enter the name of the raga into the app, it'll give you multiple things, such as the Arohanam, Avarohanam, the Melakarta, and also an interactive keyboard that has the notes that are in the ragam. So going back to our earlier example, let's say you find Mohanam. So Mohanam has a Ritu, so there'll be a keyboard that has the notes in Mohanam. So if you want to listen to Ritu, you can click on the Ritu on the keyboard and it'll play Ritu for you. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the lessons in Carnatic Raga. So Carnatic Raga offers lessons on Sarli Varses all the way to Alankarams for the beginners. So when you're using the lessons tool, you can adjust the starting speed and the starting pitch, just as you do when you're practicing with the Shruti box. You can adjust the pitch at which you start. And you can also adjust like the talam speed. It'll put like a something like a metronome for you to sing with. Also, in certain things like Sarli Varse, multiple ragams are available in which you can sing the Sarli Varses, such as Maya Malava Gaule, Shankara Varnam, and Karahara Priya. So there's also things that Carnatic Raga doesn't have that you might want to download different apps in order to get. So one of the things is Shruti Box. Shruti Box is one of like the main things that a Carnatic musician needs and like uses very frequently. So it doesn't include a Shruti Box, unfortunately. It also is only like a tool. It doesn't allow you to do things on the app. Like you can use the app just to help you. You can't like record yourself singing. You can only listen to someone singing. So you can't share those things on social media. And then the last thing is that Carnatic Raga teaches lessons that are only in Swaram. So it teaches Sarli Varses, Janta Varses, Alankarams, but it doesn't include lessons that have Sahityam, such as Geetams and Varnams. So yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you for listening, and check out Carnatic Raga if that sounded interesting. Thank you.
Great job, Adarsh. Everybody give him a virtual round of applause. So, Adarsh, I wanted you to just take a minute and summarize who would find the app most useful?
So certain features of the app, such as the raga finding and the filters, can be useful for all levels, such as all the way from beginners to experts, if they want information. But certain features, such as the learning feature, are mainly beginner-centric, as it only teaches very simple things that you would learn in maybe your first year of Carnatic music.
Great. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Okay, sounds good. We'll keep going. And in the meanwhile, if anyone has any questions on any of the apps, please let us know in the live chat, and we'll do our best to answer those questions. Great job, Adarsh.
Thank you.
So next we will go to Shreeya, and Shreeya is going to give us a tutorial on Sangeeta Priya. And as we know, Sangeeta Priya can be a little complicated, and just the nuances and the various features of the website. And so we're going to have Shreeya introduce herself first, and then go ahead and give the presentation. So Shreeya, you want to introduce yourself first?
Hi, my name is Shreeya Suresh. I am a rising 8th grader and I live in Fairfax, Virginia. I learned vocal from Srimati Deepa Vivekarandan and Srimati Vidya Hari Krishna. And additionally, I also learned violin from Sri Subhash Vanjamuri. So today I'll be talking about sangeetapriya.org. It is a website that is mainly used for learning lyrics to songs, and they have a compilation of like recordings to songs, and they have a lot of other features that I'm going to talk about as well. So when you first come into the home screen, you see this home screen, and it's pretty straightforward. You can see that on the top of the screen, you can there are a couple of different banners of different pages that they'll take you to. And on the side, you can also see that they have a latest upload section where you can see concerts and recordings that have been uploaded very recently. And you can also see all of the people who have uploaded different recordings. So if you want to search by the person who has recorded and published the video, then you can also search by that. Although I don't think that that's a very effective way to search, as different uploaders upload many different types of kritis. So as you can see, the second page is featured concerts, and the third one is streaming. On featured concerts, the tab includes concerts, but Google sign-ins are required to get those featured concerts and other concerts that are on that page. For the streaming category, that tab is it tells you how to download the Android app. Unfortunately, Sangeetapriya is not available on iOS, and you would need to download the app in order to stream music. So search and catalog is where it gets kind of interesting. So there are a couple ways that you can search for songs. The first is the search pattern. And this is where you can search for a phrase of a song or the name of a kriti or anything else that is on the Sangeetapriya page. It will automatically search, like after you're done pressing the search bar, it'll search for the keywords that you put in. So if you have a phrase of a song that you want to search for and you only remember that phrase and you don't remember the title of the song, then you can search for that phrase and it'll filter it by all the songs that have that specific phrase in it, so you can find the song that you're looking for. The second one is concert type, and concert type is the type of music. So they have Carnatic music, they have Hindustani as well, they have devotional, and they also have lectams, I believe. So there's a whole category on lectams and Hindustani songs and everything else as well. The next one is concert category, and concert category is the type of instrument or vocal is also there that you want to search for recordings for. They have clarinet, they have guitar, saxophone, veena, and these are only a fraction of the instruments that they have in the concert category section. And then on the last one on this page is main artist, and main artist is also pretty straightforward. They have a variety of main artists that you can choose from. There's also an uploader section. Okay, so there's also an uploader section, and in my opinion, I don't think that this is a very effective way to search because the uploaders aren't as familiar as the actual song. So this is a way that you can search for songs by the uploader or the person who has uploaded the video. So I want to jump back to the homepage really quickly just to point out a few things. There are two things at the way bottom of the page. You have season collections, award functions, and tribute pages. So you can see on the season collections, you can there have many different recordings of the music seasons in Chennai, and they also have award functions from different years. And the tribute pages are very interesting. I clicked on some of those myself and I figured out what they were. And they're really interesting, actually. So I clicked on the Tyagaraja one just to show you what it's like. When you click on that first one, the Tyagaraja Swami one, you can see they have also a couple banners: home, literature, downloads, links, references, appendix, and credits. You can see that in literature, it shows the biography and then general stuff about Tyagaraja Swami. And then in downloads, you can download all of his kritis, his group kritis, and then they have compilations of different kritis that are grouped together, like the Utsava Sampradaya kritis. And then they also have tried to compile all of the lyrics of all of the Tyagaraja Swami songs. The tribute pages are actually compiled by people who have volunteered to, compile information like this. So the Tyagaraja Swami page, as well as all of the other pages on the tribute pages section, are actually not complete. So there isn't anything in the rest of the categories, like links, references, and etc. And as you go on, I would imagine that the pages get less and less complete. So that is also something that is a downside of Samhita Priya, that people have compiled this, so it's not necessarily the most complete thing. And that is all that I have.
Thanks, Shreeya. That's an excellent presentation and a website that we all know, but sometimes, can have various features, and all these websites are definitely changing on a daily basis, especially when you have content that's uploaded by different people, right? So great job on that presentation. To the audience, does anyone have any questions on Sangeeta Priya? Please put it in the live chat. I want to also go back to some questions that came about Carnatic Raga. Is the app free? Adarsh, can you answer? I believe Carnatic Raga is fully free, right?
Yes, Carnatic Raga is a free app. No payment is required on both iOS and Android.
Okay, and then the other question that came was, does the app have example patterns that are typical for various ragams?
As far as I know, no, it does not. As I said, the app isn't very broad. It has a very small scale of what you can do in the app. And unlike what Shreeya just explained, it's not something that's crowded, made by the crowd, made by people. It's made by a specific set of developers, so it doesn't have a wide array of information.
Yeah, definitely. And a crowdsourced app is definitely going to be different from something that is kind of curated. And that's the cool thing. So thanks so much, Adarsh. The combination of these resources is going to be the important thing, and definitely we encourage everybody to take a look at all the apps and kind of use them in conjunction for what works best. Okay, so if there are no other questions on Sangeeta Priya, if you do have any, please do continue to paste in the live chat. If not, thank you, Shreeya. And next we will go to Sahana to give a demonstration of rasikas.org. And I also want to give a heads up, the next two, so Sahana is going to present rasikas.org. And then after that, we'll have Shruthika presenting Jalra, which is a Talam app. And then we'll have Taarun to conclude with the app Shale Abhyas. I'll post the app names in the live chat, so if you do want to get a head start on downloading them, go ahead and you can definitely have your questions ready. Okay, so with that, we will go to Sahana. Please introduce yourself, and then she will present rasikas.org. Hi, Sahana. You can unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
It's okay. Another Zoom to share. Yeah, okay.
I think you just muted yourself again. Yeah.
1 second. Share is giving us a problem. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen. So go ahead and introduce yourself and then.
Yeah, okay. Namaskaram, everybody. My name is Sahana Aravind, and today I will be presenting the Carnatic music portal Rasikas.org, which helps the Carnatic music community. Okay, so their website is split up into 4 different sections. They have the home page, the forums page, the lyrics page, and lectums page. So on the home page, they have the most recent posts or events from all over the portal. And then on their forums page, which is split up into different sections, they have different discussions. So their different sections are the Carnatic music section, people section, music resources, and related disciplines. So if you go to the Carnatic music section, they have different topics here. And in my opinion, the 3 most important discussions would be the ragas discussions, the talam and laya discussions, and then the concert review discussions. So for example, if we go to the raga discussions, each raga has a different discussion. So for example, let's say we go to Aberi. Then there's a link for a YouTube video where you can hear the Arohanam and Avarohanam. And then there are different people who have had a whole discussion about the old Aberi and then the new Aberi. And then, yeah, so there's a whole discussion about that. And then similarly, just another example, if we go to concert reviews, one of the biggest topic in this section of the website is the December 2019 to 20 music season. So this is where they have all the Sabha venues for all the concerts that happened in the December season. This is specifically from last year. So they have, all the directions, they even have a couple of URLs where you can watch the concerts online. And this is really useful, again, during that December season. It's a really quick way to just find a lot of Sabha venues. Then if you go to people, they have 3 different categories. They have the Vagyakaras, they have Vidwans and Vidushis, and then they have critics and Rasikas. So for example, if we go to Vidwans and Vidushis, again, like the ragas, each different Vidwan or Vidushi has a separate discussion. So for example, if we go to Madurai Mani Iyer, then there are lots of different links to many of his different concerts. And then there are different people who are, recollecting different memories with him. There's even a biography of him and a lot of information about him. If you go to music resources, they have beginners, Q&A, Carnatic music books, lyrics and notation identification, and internet resources. This would be like the place to go if you're a beginner and are just learning music. Then you can, go to Q&A, and then there are books for you to learn. So that those beginners would be the target audience. And then if you go to related disciplines, these topics are topics that don't directly tie in with Carnatic music, but are very similar. So like Hindustani music, Indian dance, history and culture, etc. So in my opinion, again, the forum page is one of the most resourceful pages to give you lots of extra information on Carnatic music and, the basics. And then if we go to the lyrics page, they have this page split up by composer, raga, tala, theme, type, language, and who it's addressed to, so that it's very organized and you can easily just, if you have a song in mind and you don't really know what raga it's in, but you know who it's composed by, then you can click on the composer and you might find the song there. So, for example, if we go to Tyagaraja, then they have a lot of compositions by him, all in alphabetical order. They might not have every single composition by him, but they have quite a few. And you can also do it by raga. So if you go to Sahana, for example, obviously there are many more compositions in Sahana than just these 6. So in my opinion, the lyrics page would be a place of growth for this website. And people are still going to keep on adding to this page. It's not finished. So yeah, but this is just a way to look for some songs. And then lastly, if we go to their lectums page, this page is where they have different lectums by top and senior artists. Each person is doing a specific topic, and these are all from recent times. This is a very useful and resourceful page for students and for just Rasikas in general. And they have, again, different senior artists talking about different topics. So once again, this is rasikas.org, and this is everything they have to offer. It's a very resourceful and useful website, and I hope that you get to use this website and find it useful. Thank you.
Great job, Sahana, and thanks for presenting rasikas.org. It's a very different site from Sangeeta Priya, right? It's a wiki. It's a little more kind of harder to use, but when there's a lot of information there, kind of buried in if you know where to look. So thanks so much for presenting that. I just want to make sure anyone else from the audience have any questions, please let us know in the live chat. Sahana, one more question for you. So kind of who do you think is the kind of target audience? Like what kind of people would best benefit from this site?
I think like for different sections, there'd be a different audience. Like in the forums page, if you go to the general discussions place, that would be kind of a page for like different, so that would be a page for extra information. So if you're already like a pretty good Carnatic music artist, then you could go there just for extra information. But at the same time, on the forums page, there's a section that I think would be that would have a target audience for beginners, where beginners, can use their Carnatic music books and learn the basics from there. So I think it's like a widespread audience. I think different sections have a different audience.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, and it's a good resource for a wide variety of audience. So thanks so much for presenting rasikas.org. Thanks so much, Sahana.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see any other questions yet, so we'll move on to the next next presenter. Actually, I wanted to ask an interesting question for all of you before that. And you all, and all 5 of you looked at various apps on both the Play Store and the App Store. And this could be something even for the audience too. What do you feel like you want an app for that's not there right now? What kind of app do you wish that was out there?
As I talked about earlier, one of the things that I would really like to see in Carnatic Raga is a Shruti box, because Shruti box is something that like it doesn't have, and it's something that everyone uses. Like if you're a vocalist in Carnatic music, you use a Shruti box. So like adding something like that would attract more people, and it would definitely be very helpful.
Is there anything? So there are some other apps out there for Shruti Box, right? We know Instant for Android, we know Aitanpura, and I was checking out some other Shruti apps too that kind of record Shruti in a different ways. Do any of you, are there things out there that there's no app for them? Do you ever feel that, for any of you, do you feel like there's an app that you would, or there's a thing that you would really want in an app that maybe, yeah. Go ahead.
Personally, I think that pretty much everything out there has like an app or website or something out there that will cover that. But I don't know if, some things might not go into depth as much on certain things, but I think most things get covered.
I have no idea if this app actually exists, but I would love to see if there was an app that actually compiled notations to songs instead of just recordings and lyrics, but actually notations, so you can look at the notation, listen to the recording, and actually sing it using the notation and learn it like that.
Yeah, that'd be something that'd be really. I'm curious if anybody in the audience knows of an app like that that has the notation and that essentially you can kind of follow along in an app. So if anybody knows of an app like that, please feel free to let us know.
Actually, I do know one such. It's not an app, it's a website, but it's called shivakumar.org. It's really similar to the apps that Sahana and Shreeya talked about. It's just one of those like crowd source apps. But a lot of the moderators on there, when people ask for them, they post the lyrics and the swaram to songs, and I've used that multiple times.
I would love if there was an app for like maybe practicing vadnams. Like I know there's a bunch. Like if you search it up on the web on in the internet, like you'll get it like all automatically. But like let's like on road trips and all, you won't have like internet. Let's say you don't want to use the hotspot. I would love if there's an app with the lyrics to like not lyrics, but like lyrics to the vadnams. So then I could practice on the way to a place.
Yeah, that would be cool. You know, to offline take it up a road trip. That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, here's some good ideas. Maybe at some point we all gotta make our own app. Yeah. So okay, so let's keep moving. We have 2 more apps to cover. So next we will do, what did I say? So we'll do the app Jalra. So Shruthika, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then you can share your screen.
Okay. Hi, my name is Shruthika Suresh. I'm a rising 6th grader, and I learned vocal from Srimati Deepa Vivekanandan, and I also learned violin from Sri Subhash Pinjamoli. So, yeah, I'll be presenting about an app called Jalra. So Jalra is an Android app, and you can use this to practice with a mridangam or a Jalra instrument playing in the background. You can change the settings of the percussion so that you're comfortable with the way it's playing. First off, you can change the shruti. Right over here in this pitch section, you can select the pitch that you want the mridangam to play in. To change the speed, you can change the BPM right over here next to the shruti. And to add a tampura, you can select the little icon over here. This will play based on the pitch that you have selected here. So if you select G sharp, for instance, then the mridangam and Jalra will play in G sharp, and so will the shruti. The shruti will also be in G sharp. So to record mridangam rhythms, say you want a certain, like you want different rhythms and you want all of them together, you want to record it, you can go to the playlist section, which is right over here, and then you can add different rhythms that you like. There's multiple rhythms that you can select from, and then you can select the ones that you like, and then you can press the little record button over here, and it'll record all of the styles that you have put into your playlist. The playlist section is also how you make Korvais. You can choose the multiple rhythms that you like to create the Korvai. You can also change how many times each rhythm repeats, and how many times the Korvai itself will repeat. So if you want the rhythms to each repeat 3 times, then you can change that so that the rhythms repeat 3 times. You can also create the rhythms. If you don't like the ones that the app gives you, you can change the beats in each rhythm, or you can create your own. And to create a rhythm, you just press and hold on the rhythm that you want to change, or to create one, you just press the little plus icon right over here, and then it'll allow you to create your own style with your own beats. So to change the style of what you are playing, you can select the count of how many counts you want the mridangam to play in, and you can select the style that you want. Say I'm singing or playing an abang, then I can select one of the abang settings so that I'm comfortable with the way it's playing. And if you want the mridangam and the jara to play based off a certain talam, you can also do that. Go to the talam section right over here, and then you can select the talams. These are the there's some talams here that you can select, and it'll basically play a standard rhythm for whatever talam you selected. And then to end the song, just press the fill button and then press the end button, and it'll create a little ending for you. So you can do that like when you're like ending your song, you just end it and it'll create a little ending for you so that you have that ending and you know where to stop. So I am a vocalist and a violinist, so I wouldn't know how a mridangam artist could use this app. But as a vocalist, when I'm using metronomes, it gets hard because sometimes when I'm singing, I can't hear the metronome because I'm singing loud enough that I get to the point where I